Welcome back to the PT Graduate Podcast. It's great to be here for another episode, probably 2022, I think this will be. And welcome to my guest today, Kirsten Wingham from Team Tash in Dunedin. Hello, hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very well, very well. Nice to meet you and catch up with another member from the Team Tash down in Dunedin.
Yeah, no, this is great. Thank you for the opportunity.
No, it's good. It's good to hear, a different person's perspective on the same thing. Like a few episodes ago, I chatted to your colleague Lara, and that was having already spoken to Tash, and it was interesting just to get her perspective on the business, and where she fits in and her role and how she balances her week and all sorts of different things. And her respect for Tash as a business owner, and how great a team you are, and also, and that just made me want to kind of find out more. So it's great to have that opportunity today.
Cool, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you're, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, you're into year 3, so you're still a newcomer in the industry.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
So I finished my study in, would it be 2019, if my math is correct?
Okay.
I studied in Dunedin at the PTing, and I was in the last intake of the original personal training course. So at the PTing, they've changed the course now. So I was in the last intake of the original course, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Good stuff. And so did you always know you wanted to be in this industry? I know you've got a bit of a dance background, aerobics, so you're always an active kind of person, but what was your plan? Was that what you wanted to do, or?
I did actually want to join the police force, and that actually may be still something that I might do. I'm quite young, so I've got years ahead of me.
Yeah.
But I actually went to Outward Bound. I don't know if you've heard of Outward Bound. I went to Outward Bound in the end of my second last year at high school, and I really loved the instructor's approach to the fitness aspect of Outward Bound, and also to the general aspect of Outward Bound. And I thought personal training would be a pretty cool thing to do. So after I did the Outward Bound course, I went and looked up personal training and where I could do it, and that was it. I just did it. Once I've put my mind to something, I'm gonna do it.
Right, good. Sounds like you're determined, goal driven.
Yeah.
And I think the story is similar with you as it was with Lara. I mean, obviously you're in an environment, a high achieving environment to say the least, but one that sort of creates an amazing culture where the members feel very at home and they're understood and their needs are very well met. But you've gone from working in a different facility, is that right, to where you are now? And in terms of client numbers and busyness, that has been quite a shift for you.
Yeah, it has. So after I finished my study, I went and worked at a gym in Dunedin, and I was there for a couple of years.
Right.
And then I just sort of wanted to change, I guess. And so I actually approached Tash and I emailed her and I said, sort of, what can you offer me? And she replied back straight away and said, come on in. And then it was all go from there. So I haven't been with Tash for quite a year yet. So it'll be a year in January, so next month, which is pretty exciting. And it's been a big, exciting year already, which is really cool.
Sounds it. What have you learnt differently being in this environment as opposed to the previous?
So working with women, or just in the gym, or?
Yeah, both. Yeah, everything.
Yeah, both.
Yeah.
So the gym that I worked at, it was both male and female.
Okay.
And I guess looking to work with women is why I wanted to change. I wanted to dive into that sector, I guess, and just find out a little bit more. And I'm really, really enjoying it. It's going really well.
Cool. Is what you've learned there, has it been eye-opening in terms of sort of new knowledge and the way in which you sort of conduct yourself as a PT under Tash's tutelage? Are there things that you're thinking, wow, I didn't know this, didn't know that, and those things are kind of makes the difference to you as a trainer?
Yeah, definitely. I think working with women and being a woman myself, you can just be yourself. As you said, you know, the gym is such a opening and supporting environment. So you as a trainer can be yourself around all the women, and having Tash as my boss and my mentor is, I count myself pretty lucky. You know, she's really, really awesome.
Yeah.
And I have, in my short space of time being with her so far, I have learned so much from her, and there's only more to learn. You know, it's only up from here.
Yeah, yeah. When you went for that interview, and you know, you reached out to her, and you sort of, you know, you obviously had a meeting, and she would have wanted to sort of feel you out a little bit, I imagine, and sort of get a gauge of who you were and whether you were a good fit. Was she asking some searching questions at that time?
Yeah, she was. Actually, before we even sat down to sort of start the interview, I guess, she said, I've been checking out your social media and it's awesome and it's really, really cool. And so that was really, really nice. But I must admit, I was really nervous, you know, going into an interview that you've gone out and looked for yourself, I guess. Was a bit nervous, but she could tell I was nervous, and she just said, you know, just breathe. It's going to be all good. No need to be nervous, which reassured me and calmed me, which was really, really lovely.
Yeah, fantastic. And you obviously passed with flying colours, because
passed with a big tick.
Yeah, exactly. And so in that environment, working with women, are there things that you bring that your clients haven't thought of, and then are there things that your clients may have experienced that you haven't thought of? Do you feel it's a real two-way street?
Yeah, totally. And I definitely think my age, and being the age I am, and then working with women who, let's just be straight up, could actually be my mum. That's the age they are. It does have its challenges, but I guess it was sort of more at the start, but then it's just sort of, you know, getting used to it. You know, once you do something lots, you know, practice makes perfect. So, you know, once I just sort of got into the swing of things, and I was off, I guess. When I was at the gym that I was working at previous, I sort of worked, as I said, with male and female, and I didn't really have many PT clients. It was just sort of a handful. I think I was training one high school student. He was a rower, training for rowing at the time, and then just sort of your general population.
Right.
As well. But then coming here to Team Tash, I've got such a, yes, they are all women, but such a wide variety of women and what they want for their goals. So I've worked with women who are in the police, women who are trying out to get into the fire service, got your general population, high school students, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, lots of variety as well.
Yeah, and that's what I pride myself on, is variety. So at the start of the year, actually, we had Tash organised a workshop with Nikki from, I think her business is Positive Choice. I could be wrong. Nikki Williams.
Nikki Williams,
yes, Nikki. And she helped us, all us coaches at the time, she helped us find out our values. So what we had to do, it was really, really cool. She gave us all these words, and then we sort of had to pick and choose and decided which ones, you know, stuck with us, which ones we didn't like, and then it came down to about 5 or 6 that really stuck with us. So with me having variety, I picked obviously one of those out, and then I actually approached Nikki a few months later, and I said, I'm wanting to change my logo. I'm wanting to change the meaning behind my logo. Still keep Bodycraft the same, but change the logo and the meaning behind it. I'm wanting to use the word variety. Can you help me expand that word more, along with my values that I'd chosen during our workshop, which was pretty cool. So she helped me, and then we figured out that we'd do variety in sort of an acrostic poem. Which was really cool. So so the words that I've chosen for that, so V is very joyful, A is always problem solving, R is raising the bar to always be stronger, I is integrated community, E is excellence, totally about you, and totally about you is the T, and then Y is your time is now.
Awesome. Love it. Such a
real cool.
good exercise to go through.
Yeah, totally. And I've never done anything like that before. And doing it at the start of the year, coming fresh into a new gym, working with new people,
Mm.
working with new clients and members, it was the perfect time to do it, which is really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I noticed I noticed in your bio, there's a couple of other words in there as well, which these probably must have come up at the original workshop. One being creativity and the other being vivaciousness.
Yeah. So I love being creative. So I guess
Right,
creative goes hand in hand with variety. So within
right.
my workouts with my clients, I love throwing new stuff at them, using new bits of equipment or using equipment that we have in new ways.
Right.
Most of my clients already do Tatas classes. So it's really important that I bear in mind, what they're doing during the week. And when they come to me, I want them to do something new or doing something that they haven't done before or aren't going to be doing during their training week.
Sure. Excellent. And then is the vivacious stuff, is that more of just a natural personality trait?
Yeah, I guess you could call me vivacious if you wanted to. Yeah, but just when you're training with me, I don't want to be serious. Life's too short to be serious. I just want to be there having a laugh with you, making it personal, and exercise doesn't need to be serious. I want to be having fun as well as you as the client having fun too.
It's so important, isn't it? Because
Yeah, totally.
it's so often sort of framed as being a bit of a chore, as something they have to tick off the daily list. But if we can make it fun, enjoyable, and you're having as much fun as the client, then they're going to have a far more enjoyable, pleasant experience that they're going to want to repeat and going to want to make a habit.
Yeah, for sure. And you can totally tell that all the women who come in here, they don't just want to come in here and tick off their workout for the day.
Yeah.
They actually genuinely want to be here. Apart from the social side and seeing their friends, they genuinely want to be here, which is so cool for me as a trainer, being in that environment and being with women who want to work out for good reasons is just, it's awesome.
Yeah. I'm just getting that vibe loud and clear. It sounds like a pretty special place.
Yeah.
What was the name that you said you had? You had a brand name. Was that your own?
Bodycraft.
Bodycraft. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's Bodycraft spelled with a K as well. K for Kristen. Yeah. Something
clever.
different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that something that you've had as you've sort of used that as your own brand name since you began?
Yeah, I have. Yeah. So the Bodycraft just sort of came from my dancing background. So I did have a wee slogan that actually says, and I still use it, artistic body development. So that comes from my dancing background. So it's still cool just to bring that through because, all the dancing that I did was such a big part of my life and has actually, developed me into the person who I am today. So, yeah, it's pretty cool just to keep that fading through.
Yeah. So tell us a bit more because, I've got ballet, tap and jazz going on my list here. So sounds like it was something you may have done for quite a while and to quite a high level by the sounds.
Yeah. So ever since I was a wee girl, probably a wee toddler. In fact, Mum took me along to Mum did dancing as well in her younger years. So she took me along with my cousin, who's actually in my same age, to a wee Mum and me class, and started off with ballet. And I did that here in Dunedin. And then I went on to do jazz as well while still doing ballet, doing this all through primary school, intermediate, through the high school years. Yeah. And then when I was, I think I may have been 8, I picked up tap dancing. So that was with at a different school with a different teacher in Dunedin. And then I kept that going as well all the way through. And then when I got to high school, that's when I started aerobics. So most people may know aerobics as, the old fashioned sport aerobics where you put on your leotard and your leg warmers and get your step out. Nowadays, aerobics is combined with dance and gymnastics. So there's the dance element and then there's also the skill element as well of aerobics. So I did that through high school, which was pretty cool. My other cousin at the time, she was doing it too. So I saw Lydia doing it and I was like, I want to give that a crack. And I did, and it was so much fun. And I'm actually still coaching the girls at my old high school today, which is real cool. Yeah, nice to give back to the sport as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I guess there's probably not so much time left for that for yourself. Is it much more gym-based activities for you now?
Yeah. So I did do still a little bit of tap dancing and musical theatre when I was studying. But once I started sort of to get into the industry, and you get busy, and then you want to start sort of trying out the gym classes. I just stopped that. But that was totally okay. You know, I'd done my dash, maybe something I might pick up again in the future. But now I'm just concentrating on what I'm doing, which is pretty exciting.
Nice, nice. So other than the name craft, how else do some of those activities you did when you were younger feed into what you're doing now today? Are there elements that sort of pop up with the gym work and working with people?
Yeah, so I mean, I must say I'm not very good at counting, and all the members know, and my clients, that I'm a horrible counter. I know one of my clients actually said to me, she's like, "Oh, for Christmas, Kristen, I'm going to get you a clicker so you can learn to count." Like, oh.
Excellent, that's a good idea.
I know. I'd totally use it. It's a great Christmas gift. Most of the clients know I can't count. So coming from a dancing background, you know, obviously lost the counting, which is all right. But when I get into boxing, you know, the combos that you're doing with the clients comes pretty naturally for me, you know, holding the pads. I must say, if I've ever got to do a coordinated exercise where you're doing lots of things at once, I'm pretty good at that.
Right.
Yes, some of the dancing aspect does come in, but not too much, but that's okay.
Yeah. But such a good grounding, right? I mean, you know, that's that whole body awareness thing, and that proprioception, you know, your brain, like you said, you're good at those things, and that's carried you through nicely with some of the things that you do now. But you know, we don't all have that awareness, right? So that would definitely be your superpower. And you know, the counting can be someone else's superpower, because we can't be all good at everything.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Are there other things that that have come through that you've found, you know, that have been useful, transferable skills?
I've definitely found that, not that I was the most flexible dancer, but I've definitely found that the flexibility side coming in has helped. When I started at Team Tash, I presented Tash with the idea of running a mobility class.
Yeah.
So we run that once a week, which is pretty cool. And I've you know, loved mobility, and looking into it, you know, there isn't really, if you looked it up, there wouldn't be really many places in Dunedin to go to a mobility class. So I thought, well, why not open that up here? And, you know, mobility and stretching and being flexible to a point is so important, especially as you age, because, you know, all your joints and everything get locked up. So it's really important to, you know, be able to touch your toes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's really cool that Tasha was so excited and on board for the idea, and let me plan the class as well. So I plan a new class every week, which gets my brain ticking over, and I'm constantly, you know, researching for the newest thing with mobility, newest fad. So it's real cool. And so to still be able to keep my flexibility up to a degree is really cool as well.
So is that, do you do other classes as well as the mobility class?
Yeah, so I take a mobility class, and then I take the few fit camp classes during the week, the boot camp styled ones that Tash runs, and also a strength class and a body fit class on the weekend, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Busy. So are you there every day, or are there some days where you get a break?
I have Fridays off, which is actually quite nice. Fridays and Sundays, and then I'm there on a Saturday morning. But Saturday mornings, I actually class that as a day off, you know, because Saturdays are fun. Like, I've got clients, I've got I have a 2-on-1 session as well on a Saturday morning, and I take the 2 classes, and the classes are so much fun on the Saturday, and it's so good to see all the ladies on the weekend, you know, starting off their Saturday morning. And it's really cool to see the ones that double up as well, because the 2 comparison of the classes, you know, you've got the body fit one, which is 30 minutes body weight, your heart rate's up, you're puffing and you're sweating, and then you've got strength straight after, which is, you know, slow and controlled, using weights. The comparison is awesome, and it's so cool to see the ladies doubling up. If I was a member, I'd definitely be doubling up.
Yes. I'm sure that's no accident by planning those two things next to each other. You know, they're already there. They're gonna get something different out of the second one. Why not? And
Yeah,
Saturdays are a cool day, aren't they? They've got a
yeah.
different vibe about them. Everybody is a bit more relaxed. We know it's not a work day. There's a bit more time to chat and maybe have a coffee, and that's what helps build that community, isn't it? In those days and the people that turn up to those sessions.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that something you guys do? I know that you've got a very strong community, but is that an element of what happens on sort of some of the weekend days? Do the ladies kind of go, right, we're all going together to the coffee shop or whatever it might be?
I must admit, I do have clients straight after. So as soon as I finish the classes, it's about 10 minutes,
right,
a wee break, and then I'm straight into clients. But I know sometimes it's something that the ladies do. And we just actually had a pop-up workout recently, which was run by Lara. That was in the weekend. And a few of the ladies went and got coffee after. So that was on a Sunday morning, which is pretty cool.
Nice.
And a few of the ladies popped off after for coffee, which is lovely.
Fantastic. That's what it's about, isn't it? It's
yeah, totally.
It's getting to know each other on another level when you're outside of the class, and you're not just a classmate. Then you're actually, just a buddy, and you find out a bit more personal information and family and pets and all this other stuff, which is really it's where the bonding occurs.
Yeah, for sure. Because I must admit, having 30 minutes with a client or a 30-minute or 45-minute class, you don't really have that time to go around everybody and have a good, quality chat.
No. And so how do those one-on-one sessions work? Do you structure them by time, or does someone have a membership which allows them a certain quantity, or is it very much just as and when they want? What's the usual format for you guys?
So it's just sort of pay as you go, I guess. All my clients see me weekly. And some clients, just a very small handful, I do see twice a week, or even 3 times a week, which is pretty cool. And how I structure them is up to me, which is really cool as well. So I usually have one main workout component, whether that might be like a strength based or a cardio based or a box. It might be a boxing workout, and then we always do some sort of core. I believe that working your core is so important, no matter what level of fitness you are, no matter why you've come to see me, what your goals are. I believe having a good, strong core is very important. And then we do always something fun to finish, fun or nasty or some sort of pain towards the end. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Have you got an example of one of those? Because I'm sure people will want to borrow those.
I do quite like getting on the air bike, so the assault bike, so the bike with a big black fan. And you could go for about maybe 15 seconds, big sprint, and then rest for 45 seconds. And you could do that 5 times if you wanted to. The 45-second break does go quite quickly.
Yeah, I bet. Nasty.
Yeah.
So it's just to give them a little rev before they finish the session.
Yeah, totally. Nice. Just finish on a high. Go out sweating and glowing.
Yeah. And so what about duration? Again, is that dependent on what the client wants and what they want to invest, or do you sort of stick to a sweet spot of 30 or 45 or?
Yeah, definitely. So most of my clients do 30-minute sessions. That's sort of what I offer.
Okay.
And then I do actually have one client who is at 45 minutes, and that's only because she came over with me from my old gym. So when I came to Tash, I was only offering 1-hour sessions. 30 minutes were there, but most people actually were taking the hour. And then when I came to Tash, she said, I only ever did 30-minute sessions. I think she might have said in her podcast she's the queen of 30-minute sessions, but she totally is.
She mentioned
totally
that.
Is. Yeah. So and I love the 30-minute sessions. I hadn't really done them much, and actually when she proposed the idea, obviously I was sort of stuck in my 1-hour block, but then trying the 30-minute sessions out, working them out a way that is good for me to run them. Yeah, I really like them. 30 minutes goes by pretty quick.
Yeah. I guess it forces you to be really efficient. I think Tash said that as well. It's like there isn't any messing around time in 30 minutes. They'll do their warm up before the 30, and they might do their cool down after the 30. And that time that you're with them is intense. And I guess that's a good thing, because it feels like it's real value. There's no real downtime. You can account for for almost every minute of that 30.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Interesting. I'm getting a good feel. I think I need to have a trip to Dunedin.
Yes, I think you do. Come
I think
on
I
down.
do. It'd be a damn good excuse because I haven't been down there for a very long time. So yes, I will put that in the calendar for next year at some point if we're allowed out. And
Yes, fingers crossed.
come and say hello, because it'd be so nice to meet you and the rest of your colleagues.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So tips. I know you're relatively new to the industry, but I'm sure you have lots of wisdom from all the things that you've done over the years. What's some of those things that you think would be useful to people listening in terms of, you know, PT? What's worked for you and would be made? I know you've done that values session, which I think is a really powerful way of staying on, you know, staying in your lane, staying on task, being purposeful. But have you got any others that you can share that you think might be useful in terms of, you know, tips along the way, or things that you've made mistakes at and you go, right, I'm not doing that again?
So definitely having so things that have worked, definitely having good systems in place. So, you know, during the weekend, I have a day where I sit down and I plan all my client sessions for the week. I don't just sort of, and I've had planned them as I've gone, you know, maybe the day before or the day of. And you know, that hasn't worked for me. So having a day where I just sit down and plan them all out for the week. For me personally, I don't like to program hugely, you know, so plan it a month before or however long. I like it to still be quite fresh in my head. Because the client, you know, they may have an injury or the body's changed, and people's goals change as well all the time. So planning them fresh has really worked for me, and having good systems in place. Also having a good mentor. So Tash, she keeps me motivated, she keeps me accountable, and she keeps pushing me to try new things. So having a good mentor, someone in your corner, is such a really, really big thing for me, which has worked.
Absolutely.
And then obviously having a point of difference. So for me, that's variety. So you know, making sure that I'm in I guess showing that, you know, the variety through my sessions, and not doing the same thing as the week before, or repeating the same session. You know, everything is new week in and week out for my clients, just to keep them interested, and also to keep me interested too. I get bored pretty quickly. So I don't want to get bored, you know. So keeping the variety up, and I'm always out there researching for new things and trying new things to keep the variety up.
Good. And that's great. I mean, you used that sort of 3 times, and it was all about variety, you know. So you really excuse me, sticking to that value, and it's showing up in the way that you operate. And I think, you know, probably not enough people do that. Take the time to really think about, you know, what's driving them, where that drive should be coming from, and using that as a compass, you know, week to week, month to month, year to year, because you know, that, like bodies, those things can change over time as we evolve and our businesses change. But you know, in terms of it giving you some real sense of purpose and direction, it sounds like it's a really, really useful time that you invested in doing that. So good on you. And I think, you know, that gives your clients some real value, because they know that you're putting the time and effort into creating new programs and making a point of it being different. And not only does that serve them, but it, like you said, it serves you too, because the boredom thing never becomes an issue.
For sure. And also as well, knowing what my clients want. So as I mentioned before, most of my clients do Tasha's classes, so definitely really keeping that in mind. And then most of so those clients do a strength based session, because, you know, they get their huffing and puffing done within the classes. And then also, you know, the members who have, or my clients who have, the individualized goals. So whether it is trying out for the fire service, or injury prevention, or goal based, it might be, you know, getting stronger in your deadlift. And
some of those emergency services have got a threshold that they have to meet, don't they? In terms of
they do.
Press ups is the one that I'm thinking of for the police. Air Force, you know, it's not just, walk in the door and you're in sort of thing. So there's some real preparation to do before, going for selection.
Yeah, for sure. The client that I had who's trying out for the fire service, I actually got her to give me, her step-by-step fitness test that she had to do. Right. And then I mimicked it in the gym. So nice. I mimicked the body drag and her step-ups that she had to do with the thing on her back. Yeah. And so that was actually pretty cool to do. It got me getting creative and bringing the variety, which was real cool.
Yeah, don't they have to drag like a 75 kilo body or something?
Yeah, something like that. I want to say it's 90, but I could be wrong because that sounds very heavy. Yeah. But yeah, it was it's a big number to drag.
A bunch of sandbags basically all sewn together with bloody huge gumboots on the bottom end. It's like, that's hard, just for anybody.
I know, right?
Yeah.
and it's got to be done at pace as well. And then I think what's actually really interesting is after the drag, the dummy drag, they have a big break. I think it's something of 7 minutes, and you have to take that break. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's great to be able to mimic those things in the gym because it becomes so much fun, doesn't it? It's like,
totally. Yeah.
There's some real points to what you're doing rather than, yes, we're getting stronger, but we're doing that because this person needs to be dragged from a burning building and save their life.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Any other great client stories? Because I love hearing those things.
Any other great client stories? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Put you on the spot. Sorry.
No, that's all good. I had at my other gym previous, the rower that I mentioned, he was training he was just in high school, so he just sort of found his new love passion of rowing, and then was just sort of getting into it. So it was really cool when I was training him. He would see me 2 or 3 times a week, and each time he'd come, we'd train his 2K, not all at once, his 2K, his 1K, and his 500, I think. Yeah, okay. And doing those repetitively, not that we were doing all 3 in every session, but doing them very frequently. It was amazing how much his times dropped, which was really, really cool. And it was also interesting to see on the days, since he was a high school student and was into exams and busy high school life, it was interesting to see, I could tell when he was either doing too much or had too much on his plate, and his times might go up a little bit. So it's talking about, it's not just your training is not just important, your sleep and your recovery and your nutrition is important too. So that was really cool to work with him.
Nice. Yeah, you're looking at the whole person there, aren't you? And it's all very well banging out an amazing time on the erg, but that doesn't necessarily happen if all those other dominoes aren't lined up first.
Yeah, for sure. And then that also correlates as well with my aerobics coaching. So when the girls come into comp season, it's talking to them about fueling their body, getting appropriate sleep, appropriate recovery, because they're high school students as well, so it's factoring the sport into their daily life too. Which was pretty cool.
It's not easy to do, is it? Because it's it's another burden. It's another burden, and that volume can ramp up towards competitions. And I remember being on a course with someone once who, I think she was a powerlifter, and she said that the week before the competition, and she'd done multiple competitions, she would get sick.
Wow.
It's kind of like a pattern, and sort of telling the story, we're all standing there going, so isn't that telling you something? There's clearly a pattern here. And, I think people need to reflect on those things, don't they? And say, look, what could I do differently so that doesn't happen? There's clearly, my body is trying to tell me something. And when you're young, you don't necessarily always join those dots right away. It takes time for that awareness to kick in. So having a good coach or having a good PT like you, who's in your corner, who can sort of step you through those things, it accelerates that awareness and that learning so quickly.
Yeah, definitely. And since for the aerobics girls, the season is so long, and since they're only on stage for about 90 to 2 minutes is how long their routine will be, we've got to make sure that coming into the comp season, obviously they get really excited, they love their routine, they want to perform it more than once, but it's actually
Right.
going, no, this
Yeah.
week it's, you know, your week of you competing, you actually just need to perform your routine once.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. It's restraining the performers, isn't it? Because they just want to
Yeah,
perform,
totally.
and
Yeah.
the power is in restraint.
Yeah, for sure. And especially aerobics being such a high end and exciting sport, you know, you've got to sometimes just tame them down a bit, which is really cool. And what I've actually done at competitions with the girls is do some visualization as well. So it's you know, talking to them about, well, what are they going to do when they get up in the morning right until they compete, and then what they do after as well, because that still matters. What they do after, especially if they have to perform again the next day, or sometimes they have to perform twice in one day. So, you know, it's visualizing what they're going to do, how they're going to feel their body, what they're going to do for their warm up, and their cool down.
You get a glimpse of that with the Olympics when the commentators are talking you through it, don't you? Like,
yes.
You know, if you've got a swimmer or a sprinter who has got, like, say, 100 and 200 on the same day, they'll explain that, well, they'll have been conditioning themselves because they knew the competition was mapped out like that. So you're not just training for 100, you're training for 100 rest and then 200. And that's, you know, that can be a completely different thing if you haven't trained for what's actually going to happen on the day. So it's that visualization must be pretty powerful, because you know what the day looks like before it arrives.
Yeah, for sure. It is really important.
This has been brilliant. I think we could keep talking, because I love this sort of stuff. It's what gets the wheels spinning. It's cool. I know that you know, you've got other things to do and you're a busy person, so I really appreciate your time. It's been really great chatting and finding out about you and the business, and what Team Tash is up to and how you fit into that. So again, thank you for your time, and hopefully see you in Dunedin one day.
Yes, hopefully you will. Thank you so much, Richard. It was good to meet you.
Likewise. Cheers. See you soon. Bye-bye.
See ya.